Hi there. My name is Har-Prakash. Welcome to the Cultivating Jewel of Mindfulness Practitioner training program. Years ago, I was at a Shinzen Young retreat. He's been my teacher for 25 years. And I was shocked and humbled by what he said to me. The gist of what he said was, Har-Prakash, you know my system well. You're a world teacher. Decide how you want to teach the world. You can take some, all, or none of my teachings. So I went away from that interview and decided to take him seriously. For the last 10 years, I've been putting together this practitioner training, this curriculum. It's very comprehensive. It's very systematic. Each class builds on the one that came before. There's 40 classes, 5 modules of 8 classes. Each module builds on the module that came before. So it's progressive learning. It covers all the fundamentals that I have found useful in working with individuals in person and online, and also in groups in person and online. It is a practitioner training program. It's not a teacher training, and it's for serious practitioners. This is for people who have centered consciousness and meditation throughout their life. They're already in. They're all in here. The entire curriculum will teach you to become a connoisseur of your body-mind behavioral conditioning. It will also teach you to know what your options are between the surface of consciousness and the source of consciousness. It is liberation-oriented teachings, Shinzen's liberation-oriented teachings, which are set in psychological and relational work. The first module is called Mindful Awareness, and it's a deep dive into mindful awareness that will give you sufficient teachings and a sufficient structure to last you the rest of your life. If you just do module 1, you will have a lot. One of the things that's different about this practitioner training is I have people fill out a meditation log after every meditation to start with, and then after that they can decide how often they want to fill it out. But the meditation log serves as a feedback loop which can optimize your progress in meditation. At the end of every class, there's homework, so that will test your knowledge of the themes. There's guided meditations in every class on the themes so that you can put the teachings into practice. You can embody them. And we review it at least several different ways when we work together. First session that we meet is I go over all the material in that class. We do some guided meditations, answer any questions, answer any reports, and you're set up to practice. You review the material at home, do the homework, do the meditations, come back to the second session for that same class, and again, we review the material. You get to share reports from the meditation you've been practicing. I'll give you context, answer your questions, whatever you like. We'll go over all the material once again in the class. I want to make sure that you really can integrate the material because it's comprehensive and it's also deep. So, twice a week, we meet like this for each of the 8 classes. And then at the end of those 8 classes, at the end of Module 1, we meet again for a Module 1 review. And this is where the meditation log comes in handy because as you review your meditation log, you notice which patterns, which challenges, which walls you encountered, what you did that worked for you. And I have a whole long list of options for you to try to turn that wall into a window. As you go through your meditation log, you're going to notice patterns. Oh, when I did this, this worked for that. There's only so many walls that come up in meditation. And if you can systematically organize your review of that, that kind of feedback loop will tell you what works for which wall. Then, when the wall comes up, that's your default. You just apply it, and then that's no longer an issue for you in meditation. Module 2 is called Best Habits, Best Self. You have a habit log, just like you had a meditation log in Module 1. Module 2, you have a habit log that, again, goes into detail, and you track any kind of habit you want to change, improve, drop, etc., and start to become a connoisseur of your habits and your behaviors. We include lots of exercises in how to explore that, lots of meditations around that. We work with a lot of heart practices in Best Habits, Best Self. It's really kind of like the best of psychological work and continuing the deep mindfulness work at the same time. We get into what I call the negative trigger cycle, the fabrication cycle, the window of tolerance and self-regulation. We get into working with archetypes, working with ideals, working with what I call wholesome states, but also developing and tracking our life competencies. So that sets up a solid foundation. Module 1, the mindful awareness. Module 2, Best Habits, Best Self, for Module 3, which is Best Relationships. We explore various ways of bringing maturity to your relationships. And once we go through that, that sets up the ideal foundation: deep awareness, best habits, best self, best relationships, for Module 4, which is called Transcending the Self, Transcending the World. One of the issues with deep spiritual work or deep transcendent work is people often don't have a mature psychological or relational foundation. And that's where a lot of spiritual bypassing comes in. That's where a lot of people act out in various ways. Now, we don't always get to choose where we start. Some people are thrown into the transcendent practices, and afterwards they have to integrate the psychological and relational. Well, fair enough if that happens to you, yeah. But the curriculum is set up kind of an ideal way to provide an optimal foundation for the transcendent practices. And these are liberation-oriented practices. Module 5 is called Mindful Living, Mindful Dying, and Legacy. What do you want to leave behind? And that integrates the first 4 modules and really pulls together the big picture with all the details within it. This is the curriculum I would have wanted when I started in the the spiritual search, so to speak, the spiritual practice. And I would love to have you join us. This is the first time Module 1 is being offered publicly, and I'm thrilled that it's here, and we'd love to have you.